Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Brian Ford, and I'm here to talk to you about leadership styles. And now, some of you might not think that this is very relevant to you because you're either really young or you're already in the workforce. So you don't really think that having a good leader is very important to you because you already have a leader, or you just don't have one, and so you don't really think it's relevant. However, it is relevant because if you are my age and you're not in the workforce, but you are going into it, then it's kind of important that you pick a leader who you can follow and who you enjoy. That way, you have a very good work performance and that's something that you enjoy. Because if you have a poor boss, then you're not gonna really enjoy going to work and you're gonna be miserable all the time. So, there are three main leadership styles that I'm here to talk to you about. The first one is autocratic or authoritarian. Basically, what this one does is you have a leader who makes all the decisions and kind of just rules everything, and it's either their way or the highway. You have laissez faire, which is the leader who's on the outside of the group, closely monitoring what the group is doing together. They don't participate or anything like that, they just watch. And then you have democratic, where this is basically laissez faire, but they join in with the group and they talk it with them and share their opinions, and they all come to a decision together, opposed to the leader making one final decision or not making any decision and just letting the group do it. So first up, you have autocratic. Some qualities of the autocratic leadership is that the boss makes all the decisions. If you don't like it, then they'll either not listen to you or fire you. Anything like that. It's their way or the highway. They don't trust their group and they just don't listen to their group. They do it how they want to do it. And because of this, they kind of mandate rules and procedures to help the employees know that they are the leader and that you have to do it their way. Some pros is that because it's only one person making a decision, tends to be much faster than with laissez-faire and democratic, where there's a group set of people and they all make decisions together. Another pro is that there's no lack of leadership because this one person you will know they are the leader. They boss you all around. They yell. They have overwhelming personalities, which is one of my cons. And because they mandate rules and stuff, there's better organization amongst the group. Some cons are there's an overwhelming personality. As I said before, they could just yell, encompass the room. Another one is that because there's this one person does everything and they make all decisions and don't listen to the group is less likely to come up with new ideas or communicate with their boss because they're just going to get shot down or yelled at, which leads to no innovation and lack of communication. This is a problem because modern employees tend to be more open with how they want to have a leader, where they can talk to the leader, have a chat, be chummy with them, be their friend, not have a dictatorship. Next up, we have laissez-faire leadership, and some qualities of a laissez-faire company is that they tend to have highly educated workers because since the boss is on the outside of the ring and everybody else is in the group is in the ring making all the decisions while the boss is just watching, then these employees need to be tightly weaved together, and they need to be highly educated so that they can come to decisions and talk to each other in a very fluent way, and get their decision to the boss so that the boss can relay it to their boss and so on. As I said, the boss closely monitors them, so they don't really participate in doing the decisions. They kind of just watch the group do what they want to do. And because there's no boss making decisions or anything, or getting on your case about doing anything, then the company employees tend to be self-starters, where since nobody's getting on their case, they kind of have to do it on their time. When they want to do it, they have to kind of be more organized and have a plan so that they can get it done on time. Some pros is that it encourages responsibility. Self-responsibility, I should say, because if the boss isn't telling you what to do or when to do it, then you become responsible for doing it yourself, because if you don't do it, then you could get fired and lose your job. Now, this also motivates people to work because since you don't have a boss overwhelming you and like yelling at you all the time, then you're more likely to come into work and to do your work because you get to make the decision yourself and choose what to do yourself. And that reinforces high performance, because if you know what you want to do and you get to do what you want to do, then you're more likely to perform higher than if you were doing something that you dislike. So, some cons is that it leads to lack of accountability, because if you fail a task or a project, your boss isn't gonna get on your case because they don't really do anything; they just watch. So, and you're not gonna get on your own case and like fire yourself, because that's just a terrible thing to do. And that leads to poor leadership advising, because there's no leadership advising in this one at all, actually, because you don't have a leader. The leader doesn't tell you what to do or give you anything to do, so they leave the decisions up to you. And that leads to ineffective time management. If you have a very disorganized person, or your group is very disorganized, and you don't have anything like planned out, then you're less likely to do it on time in a good way. You're more likely to procrastinate and just get it done at the very end, or not at all. And lastly, we have the democratic leadership. Some qualities of this leadership is that the leader participates with the groups, they share their opinions, they get opinions of others, and then they all make a decision together. The leader doesn't make one final decision, they kind of just vote on it, get together, hash it out, and decide together what to do. This is basically a democratic management type style. Some pros is that it has increased job satisfaction with amongst the employees, because if you have a boss that you can come to and talk to and be friends with, then you're more likely to come into work, opposed to somebody who has a boss who yells at them all the time and doesn't listen to them. And this leads to lower absenteeism, because you intend to enjoy your job more, because you get to do what you want to do and just talk amongst coworkers about good decisions to make and like the options that you guys have. You're more likely to come into work because you're part of the cycle of making decisions. You're not letting somebody else do it for you and things like that. And the last pro is that it encourages innovation, because if you can talk with your boss and they're not going to yell at you for coming up with a stupid idea, and they're not going to shoot you down even though it may be a good idea, then you're more likely to come up with new ideas. That way you can share them with your boss, and that way you can either get promoted if it's a good idea, or just stay where you are and you just fail with that idea. Some cons is that the leaders can become dependent on the group. If the group is highly working together, then the leader could just sit back and just watch them do their thing, and then at the very end just agree with them and the decision that they make. They could just not participate in it at all. And because there tends to be more people making decisions all together instead of one person, it's hard to make quick decisions. If you have 10 people in a room with three-way split options, where it's 3 people here, and then 4 people on this other side, and you guys all kind of just have to come up with one decision, then it can be very hard for you to do that if people are being stubborn and don't really want to give in and come together with you. And because there tends to be more people in the workplace and all together, they tend to be uneducated. Not stupid or dumb, they're just uneducated. They may not have gone to college, they could be high school employees, I don't know. But they are uneducated because they don't need to rely on themselves to kind of get things going. They have 10 other people to kind of give them ideas and bounce off each other, so they don't really need to be the smartest person in the room. And this is all, of course, according to St. Thomas University, with democratic leadership, autocratic leadership, and laissez-faire leadership. So, in conclusion, there are 3 types of leadership styles: autocratic, laissez-faire, and democratic. Autocratic being the leader makes all the decisions and doesn't really listen to the employees. Laissez-faire, which is the opposite of that, where the employees make all the decisions and the boss just sits there and watches. And then democratic, where the boss participates with the group and they all come to a decision together. Thank you guys for your time, and have a nice day.